Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Influencer Interviews and Insights with Rooster Hat and Takes. My name's Matt. I'm here with Jason and Cam. How you guys doing today?
Doing pretty good, man. Doing great. Had a great weekend. Good old Flag Day parade, world's largest parade. It was awesome. You know how it is at the parade. It was beautiful weather. Got a little
That's a
sunburn.
first.
So first
Any rain?
sunburn of the year.
First sunburn of the year. Usually it rained Flags Day, so did it not rain this year?
Saturday it did. We actually wasn't able to go out for the fireworks because all the way up to when it got dark, it was raining, and I was like, I don't want to get all wet, and and I didn't really think that they would do it, but they don't hold back. Rain or shine, they're letting those fireworks off.
That, and I think PS Dump Your Boyfriend was there. They're a really good band. Everybody loves them.
Yeah.
So I know my brother was going and all that stuff. All right, what the hell's going on with the look today, Jay? LA Nighting it up.
LA Night. Let me talk to you.
LA Night, yeah.
Yeah.
I like it. Mixing it up.
Right.
Take school's out.
Yeah, right. Finally, exams are done and we've got a long break. Finally.
Good.
But weather is still terrible. I don't get my results till the end of August, so I don't find out yet.
Jesus, talking about making you wait forever.
Right.
Good Lord. Come on, UK, you're better than that.
I know.
So
how long does it take to mark
paper? Awesome. Well, hey, we're not going to wait much longer. We're going to bring our guest on here in a second. But again, hey guys, don't forget to check us out, our YouTube channel, and then also check us out on Next Level. Download the app, check out all the good things. Remember, we talked about it last week. We're going to have that All Things Wrestling app coming out, and then the Michigan app, Ohio State app, and then there's another sport, cricket, that will be on there. So there's definitely going to be a new look to the Next Level platform, which is super exciting. That's coming out here in about a week. But without further ado, we're going to go ahead and bring on our guest of the day, Allen. How you doing today, man?
What up, fellas?
What's up, Allen?
How's it going?
I am. It's going good, man.
Going well. Awesome. Good to hear. Thanks for taking some time to join us today. You get to see the different side of Jason today. Apparently, we're dressing up, playing dress up today. No one knew about
if I knew we were cosplaying, I would have got my cosplay out.
Had to switch it up.
I got. All right, we'll say I'm doing a Stone Cold cosplay today.
There you go.
Pull it off a little bit. So, what's going on with you? How's everything going with you? You staying busy? Tell us a little bit about what's going on in the life of Allen.
Yeah, staying really busy. Been grinding out the content. Just started the YouTube channel that's going live today. Really excited about that. Nice. Took forever to get an editor. That's the one thing in this space that everyone always forgets to mention is the hardest part is getting an editor and someone that will make your graphics for you. Because I've had I had my gaming channel, which most people know how to edit a gaming video, right? We've all played video games, but not as many people are passionate about wrestling who, when I sent someone a video and I said, you send them the commentary, you send them the script and everything, and then they're like, who's LA Knight? How do I find this guy? Or wait, what match are you talking about? So finding someone that was passionate about wrestling has made my life a million times easier, and I'm so excited to start the YouTube journey.
Right. Nice. So, is this your first YouTube channel that you've had?
No.
No.
I have the AllenOwnz channel, which has I think 380,000 subscribers on it. It was mainly around the gaming content. I've had an IRL channel that has I think 20,000 subs on it, which I would just I do a lot of my skits and a lot of the stuff that I would do IRL compared to just being at the gaming setup. And for wrestling though, this is definitely my first, and it's my first commentary style channel. I've never really done commentary style YouTube videos, so that was fun.
Nice.
So you talk about the gaming. I think I heard you're the best Fallout or Fall Guys player.
That is
Is that true?
I'll show you something really quick that Epic Games sent me for being the best Fall Guys player in the world.
Nice.
Really? Nice.
They sent me a replica of a crown that you win if you win the game. This is, first of all, this is if I drop this, it's gonna I was like, when they sent this to me, it was in a huge box, and I'm just like, what? Why is this so heavy? And I was like, damn, this thing's this a brick.
That's legit.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah, so Alan, you mentioned there that you had a YouTube channel with 380K. Are you still uploading there as well as your wrestling account, or is that thing of the past?
So I upload like shorts on there. I haven't really uploaded full length content on there, mainly because like I haven't been anywhere near as passionate about gaming like I used to be in like the 2018 to 2020, 21 range. It was more of honestly like a chore after 2022. It's just like I'm one of those big people where I'm a proponent of you have to be passionate about content that you're making. When you're just doing it to do it, to be on autopilot, just to cash the checks, your audience eventually catches on. You eventually experience burnout. And I was one of those people where like I definitely I knew when I was no longer as passionate about making full-length content for gaming. So I just took a little bit of a step back, and I post like skits on there, and I post like shorts because that's stuff that like if I'm playing for 2-3 hours with the guys, or I load up a stream and I stream for like 2-3 hours, it's easier to get clips. Like doing full length YouTube videos, you're spending hours upon hours of recording, especially gaming, because like you need certain things to go your way unless you fake the videos, and that's just something I was never like a big proponent of.
Yeah, I think a lot of us experienced that in lockdown because we had so much spare time, so we were playing so many games that after the lockdown it wasn't really the same, and we didn't have that desire to really play anymore.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't play. Here's my big thing. Once I went to college in 2011, I didn't really play video games from 2011 to 2017, like at all. I really got back into it when Fortnite actually became popular, like right at the start of 2018. I had my cousins come over. It was the winter of 2017 for the holidays. My cousins came over and like, oh, like check out this game. And I was like, this is like a cartoon version of Call of Duty. Why in the world would I play? Like, what is this? Like this, no one's like, this isn't like, this is a little kid's game. And then a lot of my friends from high school and college started playing it. And I was like, whatever, I'll hop on. And then the rest was just history from there. Honestly, like everyone we saw what happened when Fortnite took over the world, and that was that.
Yeah.
So, so with your gaming, what all games do you stream? Is it just Fall Guys and Fortnite, or whatever you can get your hands on?
At this point, it's basically I've actually been playing story games more than anything. I don't really stream as much. Most of the time when I'm streaming now, I'm just like literally just talking with the community and stuff like that. I do it on the wrestling page. I do it on the main page. But if I do gaming, I either play Wordle, which I am one of the best Wordle players in the world. You know, that is a fact as well, not just Fall Guys, Wordle. But I'll play story games because I actually never played story games till like this past year. So like I caught up on like the Dark Pictures anthologies. I played The Quarry and stuff like that. So it was the story games, in my opinion, are the coolest part about it because it's so interactive, especially the games that they do now. They're like they're literally like movies. They're legitimately movies. And like it's so fun to watch and experience with people because like you're all experiencing the same thing at the same time. And like especially decision-making games, like Detroit Become Human is, in my opinion, the greatest video game of all time after I got to fully finish that game. And it's just a game where the whole audience makes decisions and we all decide what happens in it. And it's just like, it's a fun, cool experience to go through.
That's awesome.
So I know you make wrestling content and gaming content. Do you stream 2K24? Do you play like wrestling?
So that's the one thing I've done. Like I'll from time to time when we have time to kill, like whether it's before a PLE or like after a PLE and we just want to chat, I'll load up like meme Royal Rumbles where I'll download like all these different characters and like we'll do a Royal Rumble of like who the best Pokemon is, who the best Cartoon Network character is, Nickelodeon character. And I do stuff like that. But like I've never really been into honestly wrestling since like the wrestling WWE games since maybe like 2K12, like the last time I was really like into gaming before I got back into it. Just because like the storylines feel so generic every time, like the My Rises and stuff like that. It's just like it feels like They're just milking the wrestling community every single year. They do those passes for the DLCs, and it's like, I've seen it with all the big microtransaction games. You're not gonna milk money out of me. If I really wanted to play a Royal Rumble, I can download characters on any old Royal Rumble, and I'm good.
Yeah, that's exactly what they do with NBA 2K, Madden 2K,
Madden, NHL.
Yeah, it's the same game.
Yep.
Just with updated rosters, and they expect you to pay $80 for the game, and to actually, it's a pay to win. You got to spend however much money to actually have your creative player good or be up to par with everybody else, because that's the only way to do it.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's like, if you're really in, like, I was very into sports games. I still play with, like, when me and my guys, like, we every time we're watching games or stuff before the game starts, you know, we'll hang out, we'll play a couple games of NHL, a couple games of 2K, Madden, FIFA, stuff like that. And like, it's so funny that people who didn't play the game for 4 or 5 years can hop on and be like, oh, it's the same thing, right? And it's like if I told you that I spent $300 those past 5 years to play these games, it's like, what are we doing here? I could literally, like, what, you know, what are we doing? Just for a different face scan.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm like Cam here with when we talk about US sports. I'm not a huge gamer. It's been a long time since I've played, so this is all foreign talk to me. So Cam, I understand what you go through when we talk football and all that good stuff. No, that's so. Allen, so how did you get your start in the social media? What was your like moment where you're like, damn, this is what I want to do. This is where I think I can be successful. Like what was that moment?
So
like, what was it?
The funny part is, like I said, I didn't play video games from 2011 to 2017. I worked at a finance company right out of college, and a lot of these guys had deep pockets, so they were going out a lot. And a lot of times they would invite me out. And at the time, my girlfriend's like, hey, like, you're spending a lot of money. Like, you know, these guys have been doing this for like 10, 15 years. Like, they're making a lot of money. They can afford to do these things. You're doing it just to network. I think you should like maybe backtrack a little bit and find like something like a hobby, something. And she was like, you know, you told me like before college, like, you know, you play video games with your guys all the time. Like, why don't you, you know, play some video games, see if anyone still plays? And I was like, oh, it's not a bad idea. So I went to GameStop and I bought a used Xbox One, like the original Xbox One, not an S, not an X, not a high quality. I was just like, it was like $150 or $200. I forgot what it was. And I was like, oh, why not? And I got a couple games, and my friends would play like, you know, Madden here and there, NHL, all these like sports games together and stuff like that. And it definitely like got me chilling on going out as much. And then I was playing UFC. I'm a very big UFC guy. I love the UFC. And I was playing like the UFC games, and I saw that you can go live. And anyone who plays sports games, you know that you and your friends will wager on a lot of the times, right? But a lot of the times you'll be like, yo, Joe, I beat you Thursday. You owe me $10. Just pay for lunch, right? And then be like, no, you didn't. I won the last game. So the way that I looked at it was, if I have it streamed and I have it recorded, we can always go back and say who the last person who won was, because if you're live every time you're playing it, you're going to know what the last game was. So we would do it like that. And then all of a sudden I would see people are coming into the stream, and I was like, okay, this is weird. Like, it's supposed to be just like me kind of just recording it so I can have it recorded. And I didn't know at the time that Xbox would notify everyone when someone's streaming from their like Xbox. So I had an extensive friends list from like, you know, playing Call of Duty from all those years and stuff like that. So I would have like, you know, 5, 7 viewers, which is crazy, right? Like having 5 to 7 people watch you play video games that aren't sitting right next. Just having 5 people sit with you is crazy. Having 5 of them being in their own room watching you is like nuts. So I started, you know, every time I would stream. And then when we would play Fortnite, I would just stream me and the guys playing Fortnite, because we would shoot the shit so much. And like a lot of my friends and me, like, you know, I act reckless. I make reckless takes. Like, I'm definitely like very open about the type of person I am with all the content that I make. And I know that being genuine gets people to, you know, either they like you or they don't. You know, that's the best thing that I love about when you're genuine. Either somebody likes you or they don't like you. There's no, you're not playing a character that you could just change tomorrow. Like, you know, right now, Jason's LA Knight. If people don't like LA Knight, he can switch to Roman Reigns. And now he's got everyone that likes Roman Reigns. So a lot of these people would start, you know, being like, yo, I love the way you guys interact and you guys play. And then I started going, oh, you know, let me do this more often. Like, why not? This is fun. And, at that time, I was streaming on Mixer. It wasn't even on Twitch. And Mixer, if you guys don't know, it doesn't exist anymore. It was a streaming platform owned by Microsoft, and it was directly on the Xbox. So I started streaming more and more, and like, you know, the numbers went up. You had 10 viewers, 20 viewers, 30 viewers, 40 viewers, 50 viewers. And it got to the point where, you know, a couple brands would reach out to me and like, hey, like, you know, we'd like to sponsor you. And I'm like, okay, like now you're talking about you can make money doing this. Because like the whole time I was doing it, I actually I went from working at a finance company to opening up my own finance company. So I was working 9 to like 7 every day. I'd come home and I'd stream from like 7 to 10, 8 to 11, like a couple hours with the guys before we all went to bed. The company started working with me and I'm like, oh my God, this is crazy. Like you can make money doing this. Like, holy shit. So fast forward to October of 2019, I was like, how can I get some more people to watch me? Right? Like, how do I? And everyone's like, oh, you got to do YouTube, you got to do Twitter, Instagram, all these social medias. And there was someone in my community that had 1.2 million followers on TikTok. At that time, we all thought of TikTok as what? A dancing, lip syncing app, right? No one thought of it. So I was like, all right, if he can have 1.2 million followers and he's doing like these like dancing and lip syncing stuff, you're telling me not at least 2% of those people watch gaming content? You're telling me he doesn't have 24,000 people on there that like are into gaming? They gotta, right? Like gaming's so big. Right. So I started posting my clips on there. And from October 2019 to February of 2020, I gained 10,000 followers. I was ecstatic. Like gaining 10,000 followers in 5 months, I was like, holy shit, like this is crazy.
Right.
So at that time, I was like, okay, if I can gain 10,000 followers just posting 1 or 2 clips a day that are just random clips from my stream, what if I try making content that's interesting to people? So that whole February, I started making skits and I started making content that I thought would relate to people about gaming. At the end of the month, I had 200,000 followers.
Wow.
Yeah. And then I started just, you know, I was posting every hour on the hour. I was posting skits. I was posting relatable content, anything that I thought would get people that were in the gaming niche to see me and be like, okay, I like this guy. I'm interested in his content. And then from there, I just started grinding out TikTok. By July, I had, I think, 700,000 followers, and I got signed to one of the biggest gaming teams. And it was called Luminosity Gaming. And some of the biggest gamers of all time were in it. Like Ninja was in Luminosity Gaming, Cypher PK, Nick A30 was on the team with me, XQC. All these massive streamers were on the team at one point. And I was like, oh my God, like this is... And at that point, I was like, all right, I can actually like really, really make something out of this. And in November, I moved into the gaming house for the team. And I think when I lived in the gaming house, I realized, yeah, like I can do this at this level for as long as I choose to. And that was really like, you know, from there, I started just expanding on my passions. Like I have a sports page. I have a page that's dedicated, you know, just to the wrestling content in general. I have my main page. I have different pages that I've grown over the years just because I'm one of those people where I feel like if you're passionate about something, you should always express it. And like, you don't have to stick to just one thing. Like for the longest time, I was scared to do wrestling on my main page because I was like, oh, how will people like wrestling and gaming? Or how will people like wrestling and, you know, the IRL content that I used to do and stuff like that? Will it relate? And it's like, everyone always has the fear. It's funny. I actually never have this fear of wrestling. Everyone always has the fear of everyone's going to think that you're not cool or you're a loser. Wrestling's like not a cool thing. Like, I don't give a what other people. I love wrestling.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
Exactly.
if you don't like it, you don't like it. You know what I mean? It's like it's the same thing like
Right.
with gaming, right? Not everybody likes gaming. Not everyone's passionate about sports and stuff like that. Not everyone's passionate about a certain genre of music. So I've always been like, if I'm passionate about something, I just want to reach that audience, though. I want to reach people that are passionate about it, just like me. Even if you don't have to like, the WWE characters I like. You don't have to like the storylines that I like.
Right.
Just the fact that you like wrestling and I like wrestling, we automatically have a connection. We automatically are one step closer to being friends, to like being people that are like able to relate compared to people that, there's certain, like, I'm not really into like art, but there's other people that they're at the art museum every single day with each other looking at different types of arts. So that's always been my big thing. It's about, I've always want to reach audiences that are related, like me. We have something in common. It's so much more enjoyable to make that content. It's so much enjoyable going live, talking to people about things they're passionate about. It's just like, it makes content just fun and not like a job. That's the whole big thing why we were talking about earlier about like the YouTube channel for the gaming stuff. I'm not as passionate about gaming as I was, where I don't want to sit in front of the camera recording for 4 hours to make a 12-minute YouTube video. Like, I'm not as passionate about it as I used to be. But I sat for 45 minutes talking about the fall of SmackDown and Cody Rhodes, and got a 20-minute YouTube video out of it. Like, that stuff's like, it's like I could have talked about it for an hour and a half if I wanted to.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So obviously you've just like got into it a little bit there about not everyone likes the same wrestlers as you, and it's pretty common knowledge on TikTok that you are the guy that hates Cody Rhodes. Is there a reason for that?
So here's the thing. I think hate is a very strong word. I'm not.
Yeah,
a big,
well, you're just not a Cody fan.
Yes, there you go. Like, I've always said that, like, I think there's two things. Number one, how can you hate someone that literally is on TV every day entertaining you? I always think that's like such a weird concept to me. If they're getting on the TV on Monday or Friday to entertain you and you hate a wrestler, either A, they're an amazing person at their job, like a JBL. I always say all the time, I am the biggest JBL fan now because when I was a kid, I hated JBL, the character of JBL. Now I've grown to like adore the guy because it's like, how did you get little AllenOwnz to hate you? How were you that good at your job that you got me as a kid to hate you? But I'm when it comes to characters, like, I think everyone has a certain type of character they like or they dislike, right? I went actually deep into this into the YouTube video that I have going out, is when it comes to Cody Rhodes, right? Like, he has it's very obvious the type of person his character tries to relate to. I am not that person. I'm not a little kid. I'm not someone that falls for the little senator gimmick and the pandering and stuff like that. I like the more, like the badass characters. Like, I'll tell you this right now. If I was around when the American Badass Undertaker was around, he would have been my favorite character. Like, you go back and you watch that character was such a badass. Kurt Angle is my favorite wrestler of all time because he could play any role. It's the same thing like with a Chris Jericho. I don't watch the AEW product, and I know everyone's hating on him now because he has like a weird gimmick or whatever. But that's what I loved about the guy. He was able to do 50 different gimmicks.
Yes, he was.
And they were amazing. Like, there was something about him that like you enjoyed all the time. It's the same thing with like The Rock now. When I was a little kid, The Rock's character was cool to me. Nowadays, it's like you're saying the same stuff over again. Like, it's literally the same exact like script that you're reading off every single time. You come in, you do your little if you smell, and then you go this side say douche, this side say bag. Douche, bag. And it's like, cool, we get it. You can't do the same thing every single time, And then he rewrites because he has his own script writer. We know that, at this point, because they pulled back the curtain on wrestling 20 years ago. But like, we know somebody writes his scripts, but it's like when you have the same person writing scripts for you for this long, it's kind of hard to come up with unique stuff that I haven't heard you say 35 times over and over and over again. That's why a John Cena, for example, I love John Cena this whole time. Like, I grew up with a John Cena being like a hero to me, right? And up until this day, everything that he does, you're going to fangirl over just because, like, it's John Cena. And that's how I think this next generation of kids is going to be with a Cody Rhodes, right? Like, he's going to be their version of John Cena. Like, they're going to talk about, till we eat again, like he did with the Jey Uso, which when I heard that, I was like, please turn off my TV. I cannot believe this 38-year-old man just said to another 37-year-old man, until we eat again. And I'm like, oh my God, please. But it's like, if I was a kid and John Cena said that, I would have been going crazy.
Right.
You know? So it's like, that's the whole thing that I think is awesome about professional wrestling is we're all attracted to different superstars, right? Like you might be the biggest LA Knight fanboy. This person might be the biggest AJ Styles fanboy. They clash for a couple weeks while they're feuding. You two hate each other. When they're done and they go their separate ways, you're back to everything's A-okay.
Right. Well, let's talk about one of the storylines that may be controversial that's going around. Let's talk about Dirty Dom and Liv. What are your thoughts on this? Because some people are talking a lot about, you know, it should be censored. If it was the other way around, people would be, you know, having a fit, you know. But what's your opinion? I know I'm going to ask the other guys too. I want to get everyone's opinion on this storyline they got going on. If it's controversial or people are blowing up, what's your thought on it?
It's funny is I think the wrestling. This might be a controversial take with this is I feel like a lot of people always crap on Vince McMahon's writing, but when Vince McMahon's writing appears on a Triple H show, it's one of the most talked about things in professional wrestling, right? Like if you ask anybody, this is clearly like a Vince McMahon style storyline. Like this is literally what Vince would write every other week and give us this type of storyline. And the biggest reason why I think he would write stuff like this is it's polarizing, right? Like it gets people talking about the product. The most viral clips that you see from the past couple of weeks have been involving Liv Morgan and Dirty Dom, right? So I think it's one of those things where as long as they don't cross like certain boundaries, like I think it's A-okay. Like, you know, they could do some weird stuff like they used to do to Trish Stratus back in the day, which I don't think doesn't fly nowadays. Like, I truly expected her to be in a towel in her hotel room. And instead of Dom coming in the front door, it's going to be like a Carlito or like a Finn or like a R-Truth. And it would have been like super embarrassing for her because like, you know, it's not the guy that I was expecting to come to my room and stuff like that. Like I think doesn't fly nowadays like it would have back in the day. Like they did that to Trish all the time. But like having her like, you know, try to flirt with him and try to steal him away from Rhea. Like, I think it's just a storyline. I think we, you know, like, I don't look at it as anything other than just like a storyline. I don't see it to me. Like, again, I'm a guy. So like, you know, girls would be a better take for this, but like, I didn't see any boundaries crossed or anything like that. Like everyone's like, oh, he has a wife. And I'm like, guys, we're watching a TV show. You know, Ryan Reynolds has a wife all the time and you see him getting with girls on movies, you know, like let's like sometimes like, people have double standards when it comes to pulling back the curtain on the show and keeping kayfabe. When you're watching the show, you need to remember that everything is kayfabe. You know, like there's no wife outside the show. Dirty Dom is with Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan is trying to steal him away, you know? So like, I think that's the thing where like sometimes people like they mix the two together. And it's like, if you're just watching a TV show, you would not be complaining about this in a movie. So I wouldn't really be complaining about it on the TV show either.
Right. Cam, what are your thoughts on it? You agree?
Yeah, I agree to an extent. I don't think there's anything wrong with it so far. I mean, I've enjoyed it personally. I think it's been entertaining. You can't remember WWE, entertainment is one of the letters. It's supposed to be entertaining. I think one of the reasons why people are overreacting is because we haven't seen this sort of thing in so long. Like Alan said, it was more of a Vince McMahon thing, wasn't it? That we used to see all the time. And we haven't seen it for probably 2 or 3 years, and now it's back. But I think it adds something different to the shows. And yeah, I mean, it's probably for me, one of the most entertaining things on Monday Night Raw right now. So I hope it continues. And I'm looking forward to seeing Rhea Ripley come back and see how she's going to react to all of this.
Right. Jay, what do you think, Hats?
I love it. I hope they kind of go a little bit further into it. It's gonna make when Rhea comes back, she's gonna beat her ass so bad. It's gonna be awesome. Do they have the Liv versus Rhea with the Dominic on a pole? The winner keeps Dom, like Judy Bagwell.
What's funny is, you know, everyone's saying like, everyone's saying, oh, we need a custody match, and I'm like, Dom's a grown man. It's not. Right. There's no custody here. It's does Dom want Liv or does Dom want Rhea? That's just the way that I look at it, right? It's no like. It's not a situation where someone's like, you know, it's not Dom's being stolen.
Not a child, right?
Yeah, it's not Dom's being stolen. Dom's a grown man who decides, do I like Liv more? Or do I like Rhea more? I think there's a better chance we get a segment where Dom ends up picking Liv and it actually breaks Rhea. You know, like I can see them trying to break down Rhea's character when Dom leaves her and like, you know, makes out with her on like live television, kind of like when again going back to Vince, when Linda was like in the wheelchair frozen, when Vince was making out with Trish. Was it Trish I think it was Trish at the time, right?
Yeah,
I think it was like making out with Trish Stratus, and like you had Linda just sitting there frozen. You know, like I could see them going that type of route where Rhea's like heartbroken and like, you know, she doesn't know what to do anymore, that her, you know, her dirty Dom's gone and stuff like that.
Right. Yeah. And I agree. Like we got to separate reality from the entertainment aspect of this whole ordeal. Like it's good. It's fun. It's entertaining. And I don't think anything's been crossed yet. And I think it's just really building up that storyline for Liv and Rhea when she comes back to really have them go at it. But I don't think anything's been crossed. It doesn't matter if it was a male or female. It's flirting. We've been flirting since the beginning of freaking time with each other. Like, yes, she kissed him. Who gives, like, come on, like, let's be serious. And when you're watching an entertainment show, you want to be entertained. And sometimes sex appeal is a good thing, right? It's sex sells. It always has, always will. So I'm enjoying it. I think it's fun. I agree with Jason. I hope they take it a little bit further. But I mean, we'll see where it goes. Yeah, because I'm just scrolling around, reading a bunch of stuff. People are, you know, getting, you know, offended by it or whatever. If it was the other way around, it would be canceled, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, like, come on. We gotta wake up here and just use a little common sense and say, hey, this is entertainment at its best right now. So I don't know.
I think people are complaining for the clicks. Like you see it.
Yeah, that could be it.
The thing with the wrestling community that I always find so funny is like I've actually never been a part of a community where everyone calls wrestling fans fickle, and I actually don't truly think people know the definition of fickle because people will like write that to anything nowadays for some reason. Like it's like the same thing with the word casual. When people call people a casual wrestling fan, it's like, yes, I consider myself the definition of casual wrestling fan because I watch wrestling every single Monday and every single Friday. And people are like, oh, well, that's not casual. You watch it all the time. And I'm like, but I don't watch NXT. I don't watch Dynamite. I don't watch Rampage. I don't watch New Japan Pro Wrestling. I don't watch ROH. I don't watch TNA. So those people will call me a casual fan. But the actual casual fan who tunes in only on TikTok and Instagram will call me a hardcore fan, right? So it's the same thing with the word fickle, right? Where people are like, people will call anyone fickle if let's say you're a big LA Knight fan and LA Knight loses and you're like, damn, LA Knight's not going to be a champion now. And you go, oh, he's fickle. He's fickle. Last week he said LA Knight would be the world champion. He's fickle. And I'm like, if he just lost his opportunity and now he's going to the back of the line, it's okay to say that he's not going to make it. So I think the big thing with wrestling fans is they love to, like, one week they're like, this is the worst storyline ever. And then tomorrow we find out that Dom and Liv have been secretly dating. And they're like, oh, my God, this is amazing. They've been dating the whole time. Oh, my God, I knew it. They were just faking it for television, you know? And it's like, that's the funny thing that I always find with, like, the wrestling community is, like, they're very, like, emotional in the moment and they don't let things process. And like, they always have to voice their opinion right away. You know, like it's like, oh my God, I can't believe she did that. That's assault. She assaulted Dominic on live television. And then it's like the next week, it's like, wait, where was Dom at the end of the show? Was he really in Liv Morgan's room? And it's like, come on, guys, what are we doing?
Right. That's funny. See, that's how I am with with sports, like with basketball, baseball. I'm a instant like complainer. I would definitely act that way, especially when my teams are playing terrible. I'll be the first one to say something, and then I'll love them 5 minutes later.
Yeah, like when your team loses game 1 of the baseball season, we're going 0-162. Yeah, we're going 0-162. This is unbelievable.
What are we doing here?
Worst team of all time.
Year.
Same shitty Cubs, same. Yep, absolutely. So that's funny. That's funny
I'm a Phillies fan. We dropped a game to the Mets the other day, and I'm like, I cannot believe it. We're gonna lose the division. We're gonna lose the division. We lost to the worst team in our division. It's done. It's done. That's it. This is all. We can't win a World Series, and we just lost to the Mets.
Trade the team. Trade Harper.
Yep.
Yeah, get him out of here.
Get
rid of everybody. Time to rebuild.
Yeah, Castellano gets a broken bat. Guy breaks his bat. It dribbles in front of. Like, there's nothing you can do about it, right? Like your bat broke. Dribbles in front of the catcher. Double play to end the game. Oh my God, that's it. That's the season. You know, like
right.
that's how it is with wrestling, right? Like you saw it with the Roman Reigns fans when Cody beat him. They're like, that's it. Wrestling's over. Cody's the champion. It's it. Like, I don't even want to watch the show, but you're going to tune in every week. I think that's the amazing thing. And I think it's the thing that is slept on the most when it comes to professional wrestling, especially WWE, is there's no off season. There's no, there's no slowing down, and there's always a revolving door. And it's a sad thing to say, because I know people hate the revolving door analogy, but like, there's always going to be the next guy up. You know, like if I would have told you 5 years ago, Cody Rhodes is the undisputed champion of the world for the WWE, you would be laughing in my face. You would be like, the guy that's in ROH starting a new company, like, shut up. Like, what are you talking about? Like, yeah, like, what are you talking about? And it's like, that's the amazing. If I would have told you Brock Lesnar is not allowed to be on television right now 5 years ago, would you believe me? Not a shot. You would think that he's main eventing WrestleMania. You know, that's the thing that's like amazing about professional wrestling is like they've built stars, and stars have left and come back, and, you know, characters have changed all over these years, but we have it every week, every single Monday for the past 30 years. People have been watching Monday Night Raw. That blows my, like, sometimes I sit there and I go, my entire lifeline is literally Monday Night Raw. And like, think of all the stars that they've had in that entire span, and how all these shows they've been to. Same thing with like house shows. These guys are wrestling Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, doing a dark match on Friday, wrestling a super show on Saturday, a super show on Sunday, and they're back on a show on Monday. Damian Priest and Zelina Vega were at the Puerto Rican Day Parade in New York City Sunday. They were there till 5 p.m. They were signing autographs at the restaurants and bars till 10 p.m. And they're at Ohio for a show on Monday. Like, people don't realize how, like,
it's grueling. It's the time. Yeah. It's nuts.
It's just, and they do
the time away from family.
Yeah.
The time away from family, the time on the road and hotels nightly. It's insane.
And they're doing this all. They're hitting the gym. They're getting their nutrition in. They're recovering from injuries. Like, you see these bumps that they take in matches. You know that by Wednesday when they're doing the house show, they're not feeling 100%.
No.
You know they're not feeling 100%. You know, because people are like, oh, they have a whole week to recover. I'm like, a week? I was like, I remember seeing LA Knight on a Friday, a Saturday, and a Sunday back to back to back. And every single one of those matches, he's doing spots where I'm like, you know that doesn't feel good. You know his body's like, please stop.
Yeah, so Alan, you talked about all the different stars across the years, and we asked this to every single guest. Who is on your wrestling Mount Rushmore?
So, personal or what I think the real Mount Rushmore is? Because I think those are like two different answers.
We'll get both.
So if I had to go with like the real Mount Rushmore, I'd probably give it to Bruno, Hogan, Austin, and John Cena. I think those guys were the pillars that, you know, defined what the WWE was. Like, if I go for my personal, I would say it's got to be Stone Cold, Kurt Angle, Shawn Michaels, and John Cena. Like, those guys, like, for me personally, those guys signified like everything that is really what the baseline of wrestling is now, is built off of like the structure like of those guys. You could swap out one of those guys and put in Hogan, because I do think, I say this all the time, I think Hulk Hogan is the blueprint. Outside of obviously the wrestling moves, Hulk Hogan is the blueprint of what a top baby face of the company is. Somebody that, you know, the fans are behind, and all you have to do is strap a rocket to him and he makes it happen, right? Whether you put him on live television with any type of host, he crushes it. You put him in a movie, he crushes it. You put him in a crowd, he crushes it. He walks out and the entire crowd goes crazy. He wins a match, the pop is a stone cold pop every time. Like, I never realized how crazy it was until I started going back and watching that stuff, and I'm like, shit, he really was that dude. He really was that guy. Because like everyone talks about, oh, Hulk Hogan was that big of a star, and all the old heads. And if you're an old head and you're watching this, I use that so often. Basically, if you're older than me, you're an old head. Okay, that's the way I look at it. If you're older than me, you're an old head. But like all the old heads would say, like, there's nothing like Hulk Hogan ever. And you know, when you're younger, you're like, everything we know about his lies and things like that, and like the way. Just watch any WrestleMania early on. He does anything, and the fans go crazy. Like you have Stone Cold pops for him doing a big boot. I'm like, really? Like, this guy just did a big boot, you know? But like I said, I think that he's the blueprint. And then I think for modern day guys, if you like a Seth Rollins, for example. I think Seth Rollins is the perfect hybrid of a Kurt Angle and a Shawn Michaels. He's got the personality factors and different gimmick changes, but he's also a workhorse, his movesets and stuff like that. Like, everybody wants to be Shawn Michaels nowadays, right? Like, you want to be Shawn Michaels. You want to be John Cena. You want to be these type of guys. But deep down, every single one of those guys, who did all those guys look up to? They were all Hulk Hogan fanboys, right? Like, everybody wanted to be a pro wrestler that was our favorite generation of wrestlers because of a Hulk Hogan, you know? So like, that's the one thing that everyone tries to write that guy off. And like I said, I don't like the dude. I think the dude's a piece of crap. When it comes to professional wrestling, I think that he, outside of Vince McMahon, is the single most important person in the history of professional wrestling. So keeping him off any Mount Rushmore is a little crazy.
I agree. I mean, we haven't heard Kurt Angle yet from anyone, but you can't really argue from an in-ring perspective. Probably the best in-ring wrestler of all time, Kurt Angle. And gimmick-wise, I mean, the guy had the amount of gimmicks that he had, and like he had the crowd in the palm of his hands. How do you get the crowd to chant "You suck" to you on any time you enter? You know what I mean? Yeah. Like they're trying to give Chad Gable that treatment now, but it's like he was so over with the crowd, because it's like, you know, everyone knows as a wrestling fan. Anytime you can get the crowd to react to you, whether it's positive or negative, you are good at your job. The fact that all he had to do was walk out and people were chanting "You suck." Right. Who was able to do that? Like, you can't name many people in the history of professional wrestling that their entrance alone got fans into. Like, we're talking about, you know, they do the "whoa" for Cody Rhodes. The entire time that Kurt Angle walked to the ring, you heard "You suck, you suck" the whole time. Like, not many people have had that. And like, he had face gimmicks, heel gimmicks. He had gimmicks in TNA that were nothing like the gimmicks in WWE. Like, people talk about Chris Jericho had a million gimmicks. Kurt Angle had a million gimmicks, and they were great every time. And as a kid, like, again, I was definitely very patriotic as a kid. So like, Kurt Angle was like, I would drink milk all the time because I wanted to be like Kurt Angle. Like, I would literally tell my mom in the morning, like, with my cereal, I would have cereal while I'm drinking milk with my cereal that has milk in it. You know what I mean? Because like, you would have, and then when I found out Kurt Angle didn't even like milk, I was like, fuck.
Right. It's disheartening. That's awesome. All right. Well, Allen, anything you want to update your fans, followers on, other than I know you got your YouTube channel, anything big events that you may be headed to, or are you just sort of status quo? I'm going to be missing content?
I'm missing Clash.
Really?
Are you?
I'm going to Bonnaroo.
Hey.
So I'll be in Nashville for Bonnaroo. One of my favorite artists, he's actually from the UK. His name is Fred Again. He's one of my favorite artists, and he's going to be headlining Bonnaroo. So I was like, I can't miss that. You know what I mean? Like, I can miss a Clash. There'll be Clash next year. I might never have a chance to see this guy headline Bonnaroo again in my life. So I'll be missing Clash. But right now, I'm trying to hit every single wrestling event I can this summer. I got SmackDown at the end of the month. I'll be going to Forbidden Door. I don't watch AEW, but whenever there's a New York AEW event, I am there. I went to World's End last year. I'm going to Forbidden Door this year. Hopefully they do World's End here again. But I'm just going to local shows and all that. Like, I go to like 2-3 local indie shows. I'm just trying to experience the summer and go to as many shows as I can really this year. And I'm going to Copa America with Santi. I know a lot of people watching. Me and Santi will be going to Copa America.
Have you got any allegiances to any South American teams, or are you just supporting America?
Well, I have family that live in Argentina, so
yeah,
Messi is the greatest of all time. But as long as the match that we go to, it's a semifinal, so we don't know who's going to be in it till we get there. As long as it's a good match, I'm going to be excited because soccer fans are unlike any other. I love going to soccer matches. I've flown to England. I am a fan of the biggest bottlers in the English Premier League. So so I've been to London a few times to watch the guys play, but I love going to like soccer. And before anyone gets mad, I do call it football as well. My parents are European. English isn't my first language, so growing up, I did call it football.
Yeah. Cam's the only one that's going to take offense to that here.
Football.
Even though
the only one.
It's funny, the UK started the word soccer, and they're the ones that get mad at the word soccer.
Yeah, 140 years ago or something.
Take credit for what you started.
Exactly. That's awesome.
Well, at least in our football, you actually use your feet the most of the time.
So why'd you guys name it soccer then? Association football?
I don't know. Let's move on.
See?
I don't know.
Let's move on, he says. All right,
in your football, you don't even use your feet. You use it like once.
We used it a couple times. All right, get over it.
I'm using it the whole time. I'm using my feet the whole time that I'm holding the ball when I'm running to get it
called handball. Yeah. It should be called handball, 100%.
Cam, you're building this feud up even more, and that's the last thing. Cam, Allen, what do you have beef with Cam? Come on, tell us. Takes wants to know if you got any beef with him.
Hey, Allen, it's just the one thing. It was the SmackDown thing. You remember? Because here in the UK, we get to stream SmackDown.
Yeah, I completely forgot that the funny thing is, I feel like it's funny that still to this day, Cam doesn't know when I'm trolling. And I think it's so funny because I'm like the biggest troll, but it's like I troll you significantly more if I like you. So like I like Cam, so like I will troll. And like I will say this, fun fact, I'll show you guys right now because people don't believe me when I say this. I actually have deleted Twitter off of my phone. Like I actually have one page of like apps. I cannot stand Twitter because these people try to ruin the show every damn week. They try to give you the results. They try to tell you what the whole card is going to be, what the segments are going to be. I don't give a shit. Let me watch the show. I waited all week, and I'm going to spend 3 hours sitting in front of my goddamn TV. And if you tell me what's going to happen, I hate you. And one time, Cam posted the results, and I didn't look quickly. And I was about to block it until I saw that it was Cam. I was like, "Oh, it's wrestling takes." So it Cam.
Alan, I've got to say, on Friday I'm doing it again because here in the UK, because on Saturday we got Clash. Each SmackDown before an international PLE. Here in the UK, we get SmackDown at 6 p.m.
Wait, is there? But okay, fair, yeah. I think that's
you guys.
Just let us fucking watch it at that time. Give us options to watch both. You know what I mean? Like, let me watch it earlier and then let me watch it later. Like, because it's like. And the thing is, everyone loves to. I don't want to know the results. I promise you, no one in the U.S. wants to know the results. Post them when everyone else posts them. I promise you. Like,
I wouldn't even be awake when you guys post it. It's like 4 a.m. for us.
4 a.m. Yeah. It's like 2.
Yeah. Monday Night Raw is 1 till 4.
Yeah, you're not awake at 4 a.m. What are you doing?
No, I've got school.
Kid's still in school, Alan.
Yeah.
No, because the reason I bring it up because when he messaged you, hey, I'll see you at 12. He's like, I hope. When you said, I hope I don't see you. I don't know if he's being serious. So that's.
I would have
just I even turn up.
Cam, I wouldn't have responded if I didn't want to be there. Trust me. I think the funny part for me is anyone that's watched my content long enough, they can tell when I'm either trolling or when like I'll make certain takes, which I know people will like react to a certain way just because you can read the pulse of the wrestling community so easily. Right. Yeah. And like when I'm live, everyone knows when I'm doing it at this point, just because like when you've experienced someone for like a year and like I've built a community that's very much like me. That's why like I don't promote a lot of like my Discord and stuff like that. I try to keep that very quiet because I only want certain people in there, because you go in there, they're gonna come at you and they're just gonna mess with you till they realize you're cool enough or not, right? And like I've learned that I've built like this community of like trolls and stuff, and a lot of wrestling creators have asked me to collab and stuff, and I'm like, guys, I don't want to be rude, but it's like, I promise you, you will not handle my community, and I don't want to make you have an uncomfortable time. I don't want to ruin your experience on live, because I'm like, they're a lot like me. They're very trolly, and it's like, I also don't care about, like, this is gonna sound really messed up to say, I kind of don't care about feelings a lot of the times. So like, if I troll you and you get upset, I'm like, it is what it is. You know what I mean? Like you should know that I'm trolling you. And it's like, if you get upset, it's like, I'm not going to be like, sorry. I'm just be like,
right. Put your big play pants on, right?
Yeah.
Let's go.
Like we're all grown. If you have the balls to post on social media, you have the balls to handle trolling. That's the way I always look at it. Like there's people in my comment. I've had a lot of people ask me, how come you don't have your girlfriend on your social media anymore? Someone DM my girlfriend saying they're going to kill me. My girlfriend works in a hospital. Can you imagine? My girlfriend literally works in a hospital. Imagine one day she looks at her phone and it's like, I can't stand your boyfriend. If I ever see him, I'm gonna fucking kill him. Don't tell him to go to this show, right? And it's like, to her, she's like, oh my god, they're gonna kill you. And I'm like, it's more than likely some 12-year-old kid, like, you know, who just like doesn't like that I made fun of Cody, or doesn't like that I said this wrestler wasn't that good or whatever, and something like that, and they're really offended because it's their favorite wrestler or whatever. And she's like, what if it's a 30-year-old guy? And I'm like, you think some 30-year-old guy is gonna come to SmackDown and kill me? Like, come on.
Let's be real.
Like, come on. It's 2024. Like, if it was like the 80s, maybe I'd be a little worried. But like 2024, they're probably not even gonna leave their house.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Right. Everyone's tough behind their computers.
Well, nowadays you can't even say computers. Everyone's tough behind the phone. People don't even own computers.
Oh, yeah, true. Yeah, true. Good point. Good point. So awesome. Well, Allen, hey man, thanks so much for joining us today. Appreciate getting your insight on some different things, and just letting us know what's going on in your world and everything like that. So appreciate your time today.
Yeah, pleasure being on with you guys, man.
Absolutely. Thanks, Allen.
Thanks.
All right, guys, that wraps up another episode of Influencer Interviews and Insights. We'll see you guys next week. Thanks.
Peace.
Yeah. Bye.